Good evening. Ouch. Good evening, guys. Good evening, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You guys come on in. Come on in. I missed you all last week. I pray that everyone had an awesome week last week. I'm so glad to be back with you guys tonight. So come on in. Make sure you give me a thumbs up or hello. Let me know that you're out here with me as you join in. Come on in. Also, as usual, I'm going to ask you to like and share this video. Tag your friends. Let them know that Juju is on the air tonight, that we are back live. So just come on in, come on in, come on in. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk. I am your host, Juju, of course. Come on in, guys. Tell me hello. Let me know that you are out there and that you're listening and ready for a exciting conversation tonight. Come on in, guys. Come on in. Like I said, I missed you guys last week. I hope you had an awesome Resurrection Sunday. I did. I really enjoyed myself. I had an awesome day today at church as well. And so we had a baptism today, and the guy that we baptized, he was middle aged young man, and had never been baptized before, and he was so excited about the baptism. The baptism was so beautiful. The spirit was so high during the baptism today, and I just really enjoyed it. I promise y'all, I got baptized probably 50 years ago, but anyway, I started to go up and get baptized, and the spirit was so high today. So anyway, hello, Mr. Jackson. How are you doing this evening? Uh, how has your day been? And I don't know that I did talk to you this week. I was gonna say I don't know that I have talked to you this week, and that would be unusual. Um, so how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great, great, great.
Wonderful.
How was your day today?
It was phenomenal. Um, in the morning. Hmm. In the morning.
That
Okay.
was that was your subject today.
Yes, it was one of our associate ministers, Dominic King. I don't like the way my camera is positioned. Let me see if I can move it.
Okay. And I'm trying to get myself together here
Yeah,
too. That
Jesus
I'm
about it. How
but
about that?
tell Jesus about it. He already knows,
Julia,
Mr. Jackson.
you
He
you are
already knows.
the top. You're blacked out. I don't know
You
what
blacked
it is.
out for me too. I've been trying to research,
You
but I see you
know,
on
baby,
my up.
baby,
I see you.
they got us fixed. I mean, they got us
But
fixed.
but I think everybody else sees you. Hey Duchess, how are you doing? Welcome to the show tonight. I think everybody else sees us fine. If you're out there, guys, tell me hello. Let me know that you're on with us. It is 7 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and get started because we have a lot to talk about tonight. We have a lot to talk about tonight. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of Let's Talk. I am Juju. I am your host coming to you live from my living room this evening. Let's Talk, of course, is produced by my dear brother, my great friend, Mr. Jerry Jackson. Thank you, Mr. Jackson, for all that you do. Just a reminder, this is not intended to be a news show, but we do try our best to steer clear of gossip and things that are knowingly untrue. Um, and it is my desire, my hope that you guys feel comfortable sharing here on the show. And because you all make the show, excuse me, Jerry and I are just hosting and just guiding the conversation, but you guys make the show. So as always, we like for you guys to please like and share this video. Like and share the video. Let us know. Let your friends know that we are on the air. Hello, Jeanette Smith. Thank you for joining us tonight. Let your friends know that we are on the air and that we're engaging in another in-depth discussion. So, Mr. Jackson, tonight we're supposed to be talking about relationships and um, should they be 50-50? But I can't go on with my discussion without at first addressing the elephant, or should I say in this case, the buffalo in the room. The NFL draft, the recent NFL draft. And so let me tell you, I was online and I saw this Fox News headline, and the headline read, NFL executives cause media meltdown by rejecting polarizing prospect. Okay, polarizing prospect. And we all know that Shedeur Sanders went from being a projected potential number one overall draft pick to being picked in the fifth round. He was picked 144th. So, first of all, let us talk about this. What do you think about the NFL snubbing Sanders for snubbing Shedeur Sanders and picking quarterbacks like Jackson Dart and even Jalen Milrows? And y'all know I love Alabama, but they picked Jalen Milrows ahead of Shedeur Sanders. So what do you guys think about that? Hey, Rachel. Hey, Maria. Mr. Jackson, I know you got an opinion, so let me hear it.
Well, I am penning a op-ed that I'm going to post concerning my uh, feelings with this situation. It reminded me of the shocker that we experienced in November of 2024, where that ugly head of racism raised its head.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I see it overtly, over and over again in everything that we're doing. We're constantly being beat down for who we are because of, simply placed and put, this color of our skin. Um, it does not matter how confident Shedeur Sanders displays himself and how someone looks at him for feeling very good about his steps and his navigation in life. The young man is very talented athletically, very intelligent, very articulate, and has a phenomenal village in his corner. And what I saw this past weekend was those that are in the position said, well, if you think that you're all of that, we're going to show you, because you're going to have to dance and walk to our music and our drum beat, or we're not going to allow you to prosper. But what I love about the whole entire situation is he never flexed, he never was upset. And what bothered me the most is that the brown skinned people were the ones that were saying he needed to be humble and this is a great way to teach him a lesson. And I know that a lot of this was predicated towards Deion Sanders because of who he is and the wonderful example that he set. This young man, Deion Sanders, has always been confident in who he was. He's never allowed anybody to dictate to him who he was, how he was going to be, and how he was going to navigate his life. And he's passed that down through his children. And what really is upsetting to me, those children are very respectful. They've never been in any trouble. They've not caused any problems. But on the other hand, when someone else of a different race does the same thing, then they are considered to be a hero. In other words, we have placed all derogatory terms toward Shedeur. They've been calling him arrogant and says that he just a lot of preposterous things that they've said about me. And but it does not matter because at the end of the day, the young man is going to prove to all of the naysayers that he belongs where he needs to be, and he's going to do well.
Okay. All righty. So, guys out there in the audience, tell me what you think. What do you think about? What did you
We've
think about
we've
this?
got some comments.
Okay.
From Duchess Thomas. Felt too close to the Colin Kaepernick situation. He was clearly not picked while others, much less talented players, were drafted. I
Mm,
was even more incensed that black people said he needed to be humbled. And Duchess and I are on the same page. I was
okay.
outraged.
Okay.
I just couldn't
Okay.
believe that
Okay.
many of our people were saying that he needed to be humble. I love the fact that our young black men, especially our young black men, walk around and know who they are and
Mm-hmm.
can actually articulate who they are. And I just loved everything about it. I have no problem with nothing that he has done. The draft is
Okay.
all
Okay.
about athleticism, and I think he's going to bring a whole new wealth of support to the Cleveland Browns. I'm super excited and I want to see him do well.
Mm-hmm.
Those are
Okay. And
so far the comments.
I was, excuse me.
Those are so far the comments that we
Okay.
have.
Okay. And I was looking at this and thinking, my thought immediately went to um, the fact that, the NFL, I mean, and then you say a polarizing prospect, polarized. And I didn't see anything polarizing in Shedeur. I saw, see, that he is, um, uh, I see that he, was confident in his abilities, and I don't have a problem with that. I have had people tell me myself, "You think you're better than other people?" No, I don't. You don't hate me, you can if you want to, but don't hate me because you have low self-esteem. I know who I am and I walk in that. My mother taught me to walk in that. And the fact that some people feel like we as black people don't have a right to feel good about the giftings that God has given us, that's on you. And the thing that I really think, Mr. Jackson and guys, is that it doesn't matter what you do. You could draft him last, or he could have been had to do a walk on, not a walk on, but you know what I'm talking about, undrafted, and sign a contract. The cream always rises to the top. You can't stop. I can't stop the blessings that God has for you. You can't stop the blessings that God has for me. And what I do know about Dion, and because I see it all the time, and I'm sure he put this in his kids. As a matter of fact, I know he put this in his kids because that was part of the reason he wanted custody of his kids. He is a man of God, a man of faith. And when the Bible tells us to touch not mine anointed, they don't just mean a pastor, do my prophet no harm. They mean all of God's children. Okay. So I know that when the Bible tells us to humble yourself before the Lord. And God has, I mean, and Dion constantly humbles himself before the Lord because he praises God in his attitudes, his actions, his words openly. He praises God. He humbles himself before God. I don't have to humble myself before you. Who are you? I'm just
Absolutely.
saying.
I
Do
agree.
we have any other comments, Mr.
Yes.
Jackson?
Thank you, Ashley Milford. She says nothing more humbling than a confident black man or a woman. Thank you, Ashley, for your comments. And for those of you that are out there, let us know your comments. We would love to share them with the audience because
Okay.
this is very important. So thank you for those comments, Duchess
Yes,
and
it,
Ashley.
it is. And another thing, Mr. Jackson, is when I see this, the thing that really incenses me, because like I said, I know that Shedeur is going to be fine, because he was good before he ever stepped on a football field, because his daddy had made a way for him. Okay, he was good. He had his life made when before he ever stepped on the field. But the thing about it is there are other young black men and young black women that are coming behind him that don't have that same platform, that same background, that same backing. And the NFL is saying if you don't step and fetch for us, then we can break you. But we can break you. So in order for you to be a part of our organization or a part of get some of our money, you're going to have to do exactly what we want you to do. You're going to have to fall in line, and you can't be too proud, too confident, and the thing about it is this young man has lived an exemplary life. He's never been in any type of trouble off the field. He's done what he was supposed to do. He has taken two teams that were terrible, and played on those teams and proved that his skill set was there, that I could take you from 1-0 to 9-2, okay, in a matter of 2 years.
And
Okay, so he has
Julia,
proven himself on the field. Yes.
and also when Dion and his children went to Jackson State, sold out the arena every game, took Jackson State University to a totally different level. Now, Jackson State University is on the map, an HBCU. From the
Mm-hmm.
HBCU, he went to Colorado University. Colorado was one, they had only won one game. They were
Mm-hmm.
absolutely horrendous. Season ticket sales sold out.
Mm-hmm.
The every game they played was sold out, and
Mm-hmm.
the national television audience was surpassing all types of ratings, even playing on the Pacific Standard Time Zone. People would stay
Mm-hmm.
up to watch
Stay up late
because
to
they
watch.
brought
He changed
a
the whole
huge,
energy
they
of
changed
that
the
campus.
trajectory of that
Mm-hmm.
campus. They
Mm-hmm.
did,
And
and they still are.
I remember when he went to Colorado, the energy, I think it was the second game that they played. It was just so much energy. People like, oh, we coming, we coming. You know, they take on his persona, his of confidence. And that confidence allows you to do things. You know, when you go into a meeting and you know what you're talking about, and you go in there and you set the place on fire, so I'm gonna walk in here, I'm gonna walk my walk, I'm gonna talk my talk. You look better, you feel better, you present better, and you do better. So that confidence helps you. It's a part of what pushes you forward. So, yeah, I want all of us to walk in confidence all the time, regardless to what anybody has to say about it. Because, like I said before, what God has for you is for you, and can't nobody stop it, knock it, block it.
Right.
Okay?
We've got some comments in
Okay.
the chat.
Okay.
Good evening, Oscar Penn. Oscar Penn says, "You're absolutely right. Touch not my anointed is real." Good evening, Maria Davis, Menifee Davis. This shows how important it is that we support each other. We need to
Yes.
be able to depend on our community if no one else. Another comment from Oscar Penn. You see, when the strong Black men and women decide to liberate the masses, it's a threat to the system because of those types that took a seat at the table only for personal gains at our expense. So thank you so much, Maria Menifee Davis, and Oscar Penn for your comments.
And I
And
agree
Julia,
with you 100%, Maria. That's why it's so important for us to support one another. And when I was saying, like, you have young men and women who don't have that support and that faith that is Dion, that finances that is Dion, that platform that is Dion, and so these people can really be pushed aside, and just they can really be hurt by things like this, and that is why it's so important for us to have this same energy that we had for Shedeur. We have it for any Black male or female that is being mistreated. We got to stand strong. um we have to stand strong, because united we stand and we can strike a mighty blow. We are a threat to some people because we are intelligent, we are beautiful, we are bold, and like Joyce was talking about last week in her podcast, our boldness, our over the top extra that we have, some of us, a lot of us, is is threatening to some people. They don't want to see, they want to, like my Angelo says, did you want to see me broken, head bowed, shoulders bent? That ain't me. You offended because I walk like I got gold mines pumping in my backyard, but I do. So, what else, guys? Do you think that the attack was more about Shedeur or Dion?
um, it was a combination of both. Um, they averted their attack and put it on Shador, but they wanted it on Dion, but was afraid to their cowardness would not allow them to do it with Dion, because Dion stands his ground and stands it firmly. So they took it and put it over to Shador to try to break him. And I watched him during the entire process. He never was broken. He constantly stayed encouraged. They still had a party. They were still enthused. And one thing that I did notice, Dion said, he said, "I have no words." And I think Dion was sort of like many of us. We were just in total shock. We could
Mhm,
not believe the overtness of this ugly head. But then here
mhm.
again, I'm reminded of November 2024. So nothing surprises me anymore. And I think the attack was directed at Dion, but they were afraid. And then, Julia, what really bothered me was the anonymous comment from the coach.
Yeah,
If you're going to
and
say
what?
something,
Yeah, the anonymous comment from the coach, and then the prank call, and they said that came out of the Atlanta Falcons camp. Um, uh, just the ugliness of it. And what about those that say, do you all think it was racially motivated or just hatred of Dion, because he walks his walk and talks? He talks his talk and walk his walk. Because you have some people saying, well, it wasn't racial because the first guy that was drafted was Black. And I see a lot of comments too, Mr.
oh, I
Jackson.
saw a lot of those, and I went and researched those pages, and the majority of those came from our European brothers and sisters, but there were a few of our brothers and sisters that were saying, well, we couldn't say that because the first person chosen was black. But how do you think racists operate? They're going to throw a curveball in the entire game. So I still say that it was racism. We've got some comments that I want
Mhm.
to share. Um, Duchess says, as a parent, she would rather people come after me than the kids and her
All
children.
right.
That's
Okay.
how they went after Dion. Ashley said that Shedeur was never broken, nor the family. Ashley also said she wasn't shocked. It was just a reminder. And Ashley also says that it was racial and hatred. It was both. Tiffany Williams, good evening, says jealousy. And Duchess Thomas says, in America, race is always an issue. It always is. At the end of the day, racism is it. And then Oscar says jealousy and envy of his confidence. And Ashley Milford says, um, we have blacks that conform to a certain standard and others that don't, like Dion and Shedeur. And Duchess Thomas says the first person chosen is a quiet guy. He is not known for his confidence. Thank you
Mhm.
so much for those wonderful comments.
And then my thing is when they say, well, the first guy that was chosen was black, so it's not racist, but you got a guy who was projected as a number one prospect at one what 50 140 150 140 in the fifth round. So you
144.
so you tell me what that is. If it's not you being trying to put a black person in their place. Okay. But anyway, I am a one that trusts God, and that is what Deanna and Shedeur said as well. And so I think that God will elevate this. We'll see, what we get out of this. I think we will all get something out of this. And I hope it's something that is profound and that is undeniably God. And that is my hope. Anyways, so were there any other anybody else had anything that they wanted to say about this draft and about Shadul? We just want to wish him the best, the very best, and pray that he has much success, great success. We look at a lot of our young men that they tried to break. Michael Vick, we look at him and how he was elevated after they put him in prison. We look at Jalen Hurts. So he's not a good quarterback. He can't do that. He only won a Super Bowl, and we could go on and on and on and on. But when God is in the plan, you know. So and that is what we have to learn to just support each other and trust God through the process. And the entire process, not just, sports related, but in our lives in general. Um, just learn to trust Him, and the process is not always good. Doug Williams, the process is not always good. It's not always positive, and like Joy said, especially in this climate in America, it's always about race. And I want us to understand that, I'm not a person who's always race, 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 race. But right now, Black people are under attack. We as a community are under attack. And we must, I repeat, we must join together and support each other and lift one another up if we plan to survive this attack. And so we are still on this show going to continue to try to encourage us and try to educate us and try to inform and uplift us because we need all the support that we can get, and we're only going to get it from one another. Other people want to see us dead, have been trying to kill us for years unsuccessfully, but they've been trying to do it. All righty then, guys. So we're going to kind of pivot from the NFL, and we're going to go to what our show topic was about today. And so we were talking about, our show topic was about relationships. Should they be 50-50? And I know when we talk about relationships, that's right. Oh, Tiffany, you crazy. Anyway, hello, Miss Darlene Todd and Miss Ann Davis. How y'all doing? But anyway, yeah, so should relationships be 50-50? And first question I ask is, and I'm talking about all relationships, not just husband, wife, or romantic relationship. I'm talking about your relationship with your siblings, your relationship with your parents, your relationship with your friends. Should these be 50-50 relationships? Should relationships be 50-50? And my first question for you guys is, what does 50-50 in a relationship look like to you? What does it look like to you? Because I mean, we have to realize that we all have different strengths and weaknesses. And I know a lot of times when we say 50-50, we're talking about finances, but that is often not possible because one person in the relationship may be much better off financially than the next person. So what does 50-50 in a relationship look like to you? Mr. Jackson, what does it look like to you?
Well, when you think about a relationship, it is a connection.
Mm-hmm.
And whether it's connection, it's a bond between two people or more. And in that relationship, whether uh, it is definitely 50-50, because I think in order for it to work, 50 plus 50 equals 100%. If you've got one doing 100%, um, you got the other one doing nothing. And it is not, when you say 50-50, that's ambiguous to me. Because if you are in a friendship, someone may come a little bit better than the other. And when I say a little bit better, someone may be a little bit more mature, someone may be able to articulate a little bit more, someone may be a critical thinker where the other one may not be. And so you work together with each other. And so I can't expect for you to bring something to the table that you don't have. And
That you don't
uh,
have.
fif-
Yeah,
50
yeah.
is saying, hey, you coming halfway with me. And sometimes you can't come halfway. But it would, in the grand scheme of things, it would be wonderful if we could all come 50-50 and do our fair share. I've always been of the opinion, um, if I'm in a friendship or a relationship or any kind of ship, if I invite you in to my circle, I'm all in. And I'm going to
Okay.
bring you
Okay.
in with expectations that I'm going to allow you to bring what you can because I know you. I've allowed you to come into my circle. So I've learned that my expectations have to be that I accept you for the way that you come and who you are. Now,
Mhm.
10 years ago, that would not be the case because I
Okay.
always had high expectations for everybody. And I kept trying to look out of the lens of Jerry. I want someone to be like me. I don't want anybody to be like me because it would be a terrible relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm bullheaded, I'm going to have the last word. I'm always wanting to be in charge. So I need someone that's going to come 50-50 with me. And it doesn't have to be 50-50. What I mean by that, come on the way that you are. And if we can make this thing work out together, and if that means you got to bring 75 and I get 25, hey, I'm good. But you can coach me and develop me to get to that next level. But now sometimes people say I can't change behaviors. Yes, you can. But that's just my opinion and I'm standing on it. How
Oh,
about that? We've
well,
got
that's
plenty
fine.
of comments.
Okay.
We've got some comments. Would you like for me to? I'll
Yes.
go
Go ahead
ahead
with the
and
comments.
I did put a definition of relationship in the chat. We've got a comment from Duchess that says, I don't think they should necessarily be 50-50. Sometimes we have to be 30-70 or 40-60. We have to be invested and willing to do our part. Amen, sister. Yes, you spoke a mighty word. Ashley Lilford says, I think people have to start removing the percentages, the numerical value from what a relationship consists of. Amen. And Ashley says, right, all in, no matter the ship. I agree. And
Okay.
Julia, as I've learned 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, that I was out here in these streets dating. Lord have mercy. I'm out here dating.
We
So,
ain't gonna start that, Mr. Jackson. We ain't gonna
but I'm
start
I'm getting
that.
ready to tell you about what I'm doing is I am in a relation. I'm not in a relationship, but what I'm saying is I'm allowing the people to come as they are, and then I just sift through to see which one comes out on top.
Well, you know what, Mr. Jackson, I'm an all-in person.
Me too.
And my mama used to always tell me, girl, you love too hard. I'm an
Me
all-in
too.
person. And like you, in the past, I have expected all in from other people that that I had relationship, friendship, whatever, shipwreck, whatever I had, whatever kind of ship it was that I had. And with my siblings, is was easy because they're all in invested. We're all in invested in each other. My parents were all in invested in us. But then when I got out dealing with people, other people in the world, I was disappointed because I'm like, okay, I'm giving everything I got to this relationship or this friendship, and I'm getting what, lukewarm response. And so when you have those expectations that people reciprocate what you're bringing, it oftentimes leads to great disappointment and resentment in a relationship or friendship or kinship or shipwreck. Leads to resentment. So we have to, like Joyce and Pooh was saying, we have to tamper down our expectations and allow people to give what they can. And that is a lesson that I'm still learning, but I'm more aware of it today than I was, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I'm more aware that some people are not capable of reciprocating what you give out in a relationship.
Um, when when we think about relationships, we immediately become we're thinking of expectations. We start saying, well, I want this person to be this and I want them to do that, whether it's a
Yeah.
dating, friendship. And, sometimes we have allowed for our friendships just to sort of mold into something beautiful because there were no expectations. You just
Mhm.
hung out together, you laughed, you talked about things that you both wanted to talk about, and you learned about this person and you learned about that person. And you think about our relationship, Julia. I was first just dead set. I was just at her dress tailed all the time, Joyce. And the more that I got a chance to know you and, coming over and sitting and just talking, and that relationship has just fostered into something that's unbelievable. And
Mm-hmm.
we didn't even try. It just sort of morphed
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
something because
Yeah.
you brought something to the table, I brought something to the table, and we've been able to really feed off of each other. We know how we
Mm-hmm.
think. You know what my strong points are. I know what your strong points are. And our relationship is probably one that I could say is 50-50, because we do bring in that type of shift where I can, I know that you got me and I got you, and it's unspoken.
Mm-hmm.
That's just um, a natural. It's natural, and but we didn't try. It just morphed, and I think our
Mm-hmm.
parents brought that into play because we saw how her, your mother, and our other mother, how they were together, and how their friendship just morphed, and how they had each other, and quite naturally, all of us together right there were going to be um, together. So that relationship, the relationship that we have, I can truly say 50-50. What are your thoughts about that? Let me
Well,
hear from you about that.
you know what? I think we're a 50-50 partnership, but like I said, and people who really know me really know I'm an all in person. Now, if I ain't studying you, then but even the stranger off the street, I'm gonna
Yes.
tell you, I'm an all in person, and especially people who I have a heart for, people who I love. There's nothing I wouldn't do for my friends, my family. My nieces and nephews can have everything I got. Even if somebody said, "Well, gee, they need your heart," I just say, "Okay, well, cut it on out and let me go on to glory." So, but that is just the person I am. And like I said, I have had friendships and relationships where I thought, "Okay, wait a minute, I'm all in." And when you're an all in person, like we are, Mr. Jackson, you can sometimes um, feel like you can resent people because you're just like, okay, I'm giving everything and what they giving nothing, but we have to realize too that there are seasons in everybody's life, and sometimes I'm stronger, and then sometimes you're stronger. So when I'm weaker, I may not be able to give 50-50, but you hold me up as my friend until I get back to a place where I can do that. Same for you, for me. And that's what I think in relationships we have to look at. Okay, so if you're husband and wife, okay, so I'm going to take care of all the yard work, you're going to take care of the housework, or I'm going to take care of the kids while you're finishing your degree, and then that's going to help us financially, or whatever the case may be. On at work, I'm going to do this while you guys do that. It's just all of these relationships you have to weigh and figure out, okay, we might not be doing exactly the same, and there are people in this world, Lord have mercy, I want us to be doing the exact, if we're at work, okay, and we co-workers, if the work ain't divided just exactly precisely like I think it's supposed to be divided, then I got a problem because I think I'm doing more work than you. Okay. And usually that person is the one doing less work than everybody because they too worried about how much work you doing.
Well,
So,
in a relationship, even a work relationship, you brought out some very viable points, especially when it comes to working in a setting or even in a marriage. Sometimes the husband needs support from the wife, and the husband may not need you to go out and mow the lawn or may not need you to fix the car, but the husband may need for you to just sit down and affirm him. Just give him some great words of affirmation, pour into his spirit. If it's nothing but cooking a nice meal when he least expects it, or the husband, vice versa, can turn around and do the same thing. If the wife is tired, the husband can get up and clean up or wash the dishes or watch the children. Where you fall short, that's where I pick up. And when I'm falling short, it's where you pick up. So when I think of 50-50, I'm looking at it from a mathematical perspective because 50 plus 50 makes 100. Yes, I'm all in as well. But in our relationship, when I need you, you come through. And when you need me, I'm coming through. And it's not always a physical perspective. It's not always coming over to your house. It's something as simple as a phone call when I need it, or a text message when I need to bless you or to give you a word of wisdom or to encourage you. That's what I mean when we're talking 50-50, because that makes 100. Even though I am all in, I go 100, because if I fool with you, I'm fooling with you and I'm going all the way in. And we
okay,
don't have any comments right now. So
okay.
we want y'all
Let me
to
ask
answer the
for the
question.
let me ask let me ask a question of the married couples out there. When it comes to marriage, what are your expectations? Do you expect your partner and you to have a 50-50 relationship? I see Starlet out there. I see Duchess out there. What do you guys, do you all, what are your expectations in a marriage? As far as relationship are concerned.
We're, we're waiting.
Yes.
That's a lovely question. So go ahead and put your comments in the chat. I sort of
Mhm.
reworded the question.
That's
Just
all right.
basically, what does it look
All
like?
right. Okay. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. I just want to know, in the marriage realm, because I've never been married, and maybe it's because I'm looking for 50-50. And don't know what 50-50 is supposed to be in a relationship. Uh, uh, Romantic interest relationship. I got it down pat well, I think I do when it comes to,
So
uh,
Ashley Milford says she thinks that's a question that would apply to married or unmarried. Um,
okay.
because
So Ashley, you tell me what does it look like to you when you're looking in a romantic relationship, or even in a friendship. What are your expectations? What are your expectations for somebody?
so we've got several. Duchess Thomas says, honestly, I expect 100% 100. I don't want half of a man,
Okay.
LOL. But again, you have to be fully invested. Thank you
Okay.
for that comment. Charlotte Ford Calloway
Okay.
says,
Don't want help, man. I got you.
my husband is the sole provider, not necessarily 50-50 perspective for me. I pull my share and feel good about it. However, if he had to do 100%, he would. I love that.
Yeah, you just be overworking my godson. That's all.
Is that
Okay.
is that Corey?
Yes, that's Corey.
Uh-huh. Okay. hmm That's gonna
Don't
be my
start
new
messing with my
friend.
godson, Mr.
That's gonna be
Jackson.
my new friend, Julie. I'm telling you. He doesn't know
Yeah,
it, but He's going to be my new friend. He's tried to come for me, but that's okay. Uh-huh. I
And
won't forget.
so Starlet, you're 100. You're saying 100%, 100%. Y'all are in that, and that is really, what I think when I think of a relationship. I believe, and I'm gonna give you 100. So please give me 100 back. But I guess if it's not 100, there is where the grace comes in at.
Okay. We've got another comment from Ashley Milford. She says, I believe the husband should be the sole provider, but at any given time, if he cannot provide, I feel the wife should be able to keep the ship going. Life happens and health issues. Okay. Thank you, Ashley, for that.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, my mom always raised us girls. It seemed like to me she harped more. I guess it was just an expectation that the boys were going to go out and do their thing. But she always instilled in us, always, always, always be able to take care of yourself and your kids. That was it. Always, regardless to who's there and who's not, you'll be able to take care of yourself and your kids. And that was her thing. So I don't I don't want anybody that's gonna have to take care of me. I don't want that. I don't want that. I want to be able to take care of myself, and I want to be able to us to both give. I mean, I don't want anybody to for me to have to say I depend on this person. This person takes care of me. I don't. That may happen because we never know what tomorrow may bring, but I that's not what I desire.
right. Okay, so we've got several
Okay.
comments, and I too want to applaud your mother and your parents telling the girls always be ready and be able to take care of yourself and your children, no matter who is there. I can remember my daddy always showing me some skills that I absolutely abhorred. I hated getting my hands dirty, but he said, son, you've got to be able to learn and do these things on your own. I'm so appreciative of that. We've got several comments. Duchess says we have to both be invested and willing to do what it takes. Ashley says, I don't require anything I can't provide myself financially. Ashley also says, my mother instilled that in me as well. Be able to take care of yourself. Good evening, Sister Zandra Davis, Madam President. She says that her parents did the same thing. And Duchess says, I don't want to be in a position for someone to take care of me. And good evening, Darlene Todd, my boo. She says, my dad always told me that I don't want anyone to take care of me. We need to be able to take care of each other as well. And I love those comments. I've always been independent, but I always find myself trying to do and help others. So I don't know how I'm going to be if I do get into a relationship. Y'all are going to help me navigate this thing because at 62 years old, being
But you're gonna have to
63,
talk to Duchess, cause on
well,
that
you're
wise, cause
going to
I
help me
can't help you.
too. You're
I
going to
can't
you're
help
going to
you
help me out.
in that ship. It would definitely be a shipwreck if you listen to me. It would definitely
Well,
be a shipwreck.
but you know, Julia, what's amazing? I just cannot believe that I have lifted the veil, and I'm telling you, that show really opened my eyes, and I thought, okay. Now that we're talking about relationships, I'm going, I may be trying to get in one. I don't know. And then Ashley says, in these times, they'll throw it back in your face. Um, Ashley, I well, I, I would hate for you to think that way, and partially it's true, but sometimes if people are really trying to make a ship work, before they throw it in your face, they'll hopefully try to talk through and make things and help each other see each other's point.
And and I think that there are people who will bring up, well, I did this and I did that and and that kind of thing. And but sometimes, you sometimes you have to remind people. You do have to remind them, okay, remember, because people will get amnesia and forget that you've ever tried to help them out, forget what you've done in the to be invested, what you have, they'll forget what you have invested in the relationship. So you have to remind them, okay, let's not get amnesia over here. Let's remember that I too have invested time, energy, resources into this relationship, this friendship, this whatever, kinship. Um, but the one thing, though, we have to remember, no one wants to feel like uh, they are being taken advantage of. And so I think uh, the appreciation factor has to be there as well. You have to be invested, but then you also have to appreciate what the person, the partner, the sibling, the parent, the child, appreciate the part that they are, their investment, recognize their investment, and then show appreciation. And I think that appreciation factor is often lacking, because if you can't match them in the financial, or even you may not even be able to match them in the emotional at sometimes, or the mental, or the spiritual, or physically, you may not be able to match that. But what you can always do is show gratitude and appreciation. And I think when you show that gratitude and that appreciation, and people don't think, hey, this person is just taking advantage of me. You're constantly giving, 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 and they're not ever giving back, and they're not ever satisfied with what you're giving or appreciative of what you're giving. I think that is what really causes resentment in a relationship. Mr. Jackson.
Well, when resentment in a relationship, I think critical thinking skills are a huge part of a relationship. Uh, Sometimes I act out of emotions and not with emotional intelligence. And sometimes that can be detrimental to a relationship, because if by chance, remotely, if someone says, well, remember, I did such and such for you, I'm going to tell you right now that the response is not going to be very nice. Because what I despise and I detest is to remind me of what you've done for me. And I'm constantly thinking, well, I'm doing things to make this work as well. And sometimes I think it's just a matter of being able to communicate and just get an understanding before you say to the person, well, I did such and such, I had to pay that bill for you. I'm not going to keep paying these bills, and I'm struggling over here, and you're not doing anything to make things work out. Well, there could be a combination of things, and communication is really the key to the success of any relationship. So I want to think that people, well, I'm really going to just be honest. People are not communicating, and they become very emotionally detached, and then they shut down, and then that's what starts the debacle of the relationship. We have got to learn to communicate, and sometimes I have to swallow my pride and say, well, you know what? Maybe I need to take a second look at myself and see what is it that I'm doing that's causing this relationship not to um, foster to where it needs to be. We've got some comments in the chat that I want to bring attention to. Starlet says Ja'Cory's perspective is that he is the sole provider of the home. Again, I work and bring my fair share to the table to help provide for the household. If it comes to a time that he can't do it, I definitely would fill the gap. Honestly, we combine incomes. I love that. We combine incomes for the household. Thank you, Zandra Davis, for agreeing with me. And Darlene Todd says communication is the key. And
And
there you
and,
have
and
it.
I think communication is the key. But you know me, Mr. Jackson, I'm a person who believes in honesty too. So if I feel
Absolutely.
like you're not holding up your end of the bargain, I'm gonna tell you.
And
And
I have nothing against that because honesty and transparency and candor is extremely paramount. You should not allow me to continue on doing things that's hurting you or you are disagreeing with, and you never shed that light to me. Because if I don't honestly know that I'm doing something, especially not holding up my bargain, and you don't share it with me, then that's on you because you've got to communicate with me and say, look, honey, the buck stops right here. We got to sit down and we got to have a conversation. And just like, my sister told me this. She said, why is it that you can have difficult conversations with your team at work, but for some reason you try to avoid those in your personal relationships? And that was something I had to really think of, and I'm doing better with that. We've got a comment from Ashley that says, I believe in combining incomes to a certain extent. Dating later in life, that is not the case when it comes to all assets. I get that. Thank you for that.
okay, and it's about time for us to go, but and I just want to ask Ashley and those who may be getting married. So what are those prenuptial agreements? What do you think about that? And I'm just gonna throw that out there, and y'all respond to it as you will. And Mr. Jackson, you can go ahead with our announcements while they're responding to these. What do they think about prenuptial? Anybody
Absolutely.
prenuptial agreements?
Anybody that wants to respond to the prenuptial agreements, what do you think about them? So, thank you so much. So, the announcements for this week: next Sunday, May 4th, we will be talking about our traditional churches meeting the needs of younger generations. That will be the topic of our show. Please, please, please invite your friends and ask them to come out and be in the audience and tell them to participate. We want to know that they're out here. We know that they're listening because we hear it, but respond in the chat. Give us some of your feedback. We are continuing with the Economic Blackout Tour. This week, ending the General Mills boycott on the 28th. We will start a new boycott May 6th with Amazon. That is part two. From May 6th to May 12th will be the Amazon boycott of part two. And if how you can get around having to order with Amazon, just go directly to the merchant and order your merchandise directly from them. You may have to pay a little bit more in shipping, but it's worth it. We've got to take a stance to let these people know that we're not appreciative of what they've done. Please continue to like, follow, and share R. Dean Thomas on Facebook so you will have the ability to see what's going on her page. Of course, June 28th is a special day for us here at Let's Talk and the historical St. Luke AME Church. We will be having our annual Juneteenth celebration on that date. We are still looking for vendors. We're looking for people to be included. And this year's theme is from change to change, honoring the freedom and embracing inclusions. This is going to be held on the historic campus of St. Luke AME Church from 4 o'clock p.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. Again, we're continuing to seek vendors, sponsors, and entertainment. And if you know or if you are interested in participating, please contact Julia, Ardeen Thomas, Joyce Thomas Vincent, or myself. We're going to continue to flood your social media with trivia information about Juneteenth. If you are looking for a Mary Kay consultant, you don't have to look any further. You may contact Joyce Duchess Thomas Vincent, who can be your independent Mary Kay consultant for all of your Mary Kay needs. I am going to put a shameless plug in for the Divinely Guided Podcast YouTube channel. You'll be able to catch wonderful episodes every Monday, dropping about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, featuring the dynamic mother daughter duo of Duchess Thomas and Adrielle Vincent. And of course, I will be posting the link to their divine podcast. I'm telling you,
And
I
Mr.
would
and
you
Mr. Jackson,
yes.
just let me say, and I forgot to put it on the announcements, that
I was going to say that.
tomorrow,
I was going to
huh?
say that. I was
Oh,
going
you
to. That's why I was doing a shameless plug.
okay? Go ahead.
Thank you. So tomorrow at 7 o'clock p.m. on Facebook Live, the mother daughter duo will be celebrating their 1 year podcast. Let's give it up for them. Let me see some hearts and some hand claps and all of that good stuff. So they'll be doing a Facebook Live. And as soon as I get off, I am going to post it on my page because I'm so excited for them. I love their podcast. Very, very interesting conversations, very candid conversations, very transparent. So let's support them in their celebration of their 1 year podcast. I cannot believe how time has flown. Congratulations, Joyce Thomas Vincent and Duchess Thomas, Lord have mercy, and Adrielle, my Virginia. Okay. All right. So we want you to continue to subscribe to Juju's Dollhouse YouTube channel. We want you to keep up with everything going on with By Juju for you. Also, catch any editions of Let's Talk that you may have missed. And I'm going to post that link in the chat for you. And as always, it's a congratulations to By Juju for you because she's a proud sponsor of Hold Up the Light, which is Huddle. So thank you so much for all of the conversations that you posted in the chat. It has absolutely been marvelous. Thank you.
Yes,
I
it
turn it
has.
back over to you.
I agree with you, Mr. Jackson. I have enjoyed this conversation tonight. That is what I want Let's Talk to be every week. Us engaging, us sharing our various opinions and hearing how how each other's thinking. Um, and hello, Mr. Jacory Godson Calloway. Yes, you are late, but that's okay, long as you're here on time. Next week when we're talking about the church
We want
meeting
him
the
here.
needs.
We want
Uh-huh.
him here.
What
We
now?
want Corey
Yes,
here. Yes.
Corey, we need you here to talk about is the traditional church meeting the needs of our younger generation next week. So make sure you get yourself in here on time. I know you're a busy man because Starla had you working all the time. But
We want him to come on camera. We want him to come on camera.
oh, okay. So we'll see, because I don't know. I think hopefully we'll be able to do a round table next week and have some young people in the discussion with us and just have a round table discussion about what the younger generations are wanting out of church and why they're, what's lacking or what else they need from a church that we are actually maybe not giving them. But anyway, yes, baby Bop,
Yes.
you know I tell
Yes.
you all the time you have my godson working all the time. But anyway, all right, guys. So thank you so much, so much, so much for joining us tonight. Thank you for the engagement. It has been awesome. And so we'll look forward to seeing you all next week. Like and share this video so someone can catch it in the replay. And just tell a friend about this, our little talk show. We want it to grow. We want it to expand. We want it to expand, and we want to be able to enlighten and uplift our community and our viewers. So thank you so much. I am Juju, and I am that mountain moving giant slayer. See, when I say that, I think about my baby because she says I Journey Huff, and she says I say I'm Juju and I can do whatever I want to do, baby. And I'm the Journey. You know I ain't never said that, but anyway, I am Juju. I am that mountain moving giant slayer. I am walking. That's what got Dion and Shedeur in trouble and that company. Okay, I'm walking by faith, inspiring hope, and showing love all along the way. Until next time. I wish all of you guys much love and many blessings. Good night.